and welcome to another episode of Nerd Days. This is the show where we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Mick, and with me, as always, are my co-host Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Hello.
And Jonah.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, guys. On today's episode, we're going to talk about many things, but we're going to start off with some John Wick Chapter 4. We'll do some non-spoiler stuff and then jump into some spoilers. I believe Jonah's the only one here who's not seen it.
Lame.
But he's given us the okay to spoil things. So that's a spoiler alert for you. So if you've not watched the movie, we will be spoiling it. So
Eventually.
But the first, first part, we'll do non-spoiler.
We're going to keep you guessing.
and
We'll let you know when we're going to
They're
spoil
like,
it.
do I leave?
It's a good thing I haven't seen it because I tend to spoil it when we're going through the
That's a good point.
non-spoiler.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I actually just saw it like not too long ago. I saw it today.
Okay.
I had an awesome experience where no one else was in the theater because I went to a matinee during the day.
That's perfect.
And so
Yeah.
it was
Perfect.
great. But yeah, I had a really good experience. I think the movie was, it's exactly what you expect from a John Wick movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you expect, right? It's just gunfighting, kung fu, martial
Gun fu.
arts, gun fu, yeah.
Yep.
And there's a dog involved somewhere or another.
Yeah.
Like most of the time. Is it every movie?
There's cars. Yeah.
Car. Oh, and he always has to ride a bike because he's a big motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Did he get on a horse?
Yep.
He did. Yep.
Nice.
He
No,
did.
no spoilers, but he was on a horse at one point in the movie.
Was he?
So
Oh yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. I think one of my favorite things about this movie was the visuals. Just every set was really pretty, like very well. We were in Tokyo. This is a spoiler. Most of it, and so it was just like very cool aesthetic, neons. And but we were also in the desert, like we had the whole gamut of scenery, and it just, I guarantee you, like you could just take stills, like just pause the movie and have it as a really cool looking background.
Yeah.
Like there are so many cool frames, like you could just tell the cinematography was just insane, and so I really enjoyed the visual of it, probably the most. The action was really good. I'm always such a stickler, trying to watch for does this fight make sense? Is this guy like being stupid? Could he have hit him in the
Is
back?
he waiting for the other guy to
Yeah.
get killed before he attacks? Yeah.
Like you have to buy into some realities of this, made up storyline. Obviously, like the bulletproof suit,
Yeah.
right? Like the suit is bulletproof and it is apparently insanely strong, and he's also insanely strong. So you have
Right.
to buy into that. Once you buy into that, it's all good.
Yeah.
You're just coasting from there. It's all for the sake of cool. Like it's all it is. Like we're all here to see sick, cool action scenes and fight scenes, and we got it. What'd you guys think of it?
Yeah, no, it's for me, it's the same thing. It's like, what you're getting in a John Wick movie, and I think that's a good thing. You're like, I'm just going to go watch some crazy action scenes, some awesome stunts. I always like going into a John Wick movie, I'm like, what's my threshold for people getting shot in the head? And it's really high. I'm like, that threshold's really high because that's all that happens in this movie. So it's like, if you're like, don't like violence, you're not going to watch the John Wick movies. But if you're okay with it, it's like a super fun ride.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. Like all the aesthetics of everything was like really well done. The choreography is awesome. And the one thing about it that I think is a good thing that they do really well is that they're always in danger of like, for me, I'm like, oh, is this going to get old? And they always switch it up in a certain way, or they don't linger too long on a scene. Like they have, obviously there's like different set pieces where it's like, well, we're just going to be fighting and shooting dudes here.
Yeah.
Like he'll kill a guy with a knife, and then he'll kill a guy with a cup, and then with a book.
Exactly.
So it's like they always introduce new aspects where you're like, oh, that's a little different. Like, oh, okay. Like,
clever.
Like the Osaka branch had bow and arrows, and that was really cool seeing like the fighting around that, and like how do you use a bow if someone's right in your face? Like they got really creative about their choreography, and that the daughter or whatever, she was really cool with the fighting. Close quarters with the bow, and I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, they do a really good job of like keeping you guessing, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's a John Wick movie, and I got exactly what I wanted out of it.
I will say this: when it comes to choreography, like I said, I'm hypersensitive about it. I love that, like, there's some fight scenes where it's like you do this move, then this move, then this move, then this, and it's almost like a dance. In this movie, it's like they plan, they're realistically choreographing it, choreographing it.
Yeah.
To like you get hit and the guy stops, thinks like John thinks about what he's gonna, like he scans it. It's not like he's gonna block, he's gonna hit me from above, I'm going to block like really early. It's like it's a little bit more, sorry, it's not realistic, but it's more realistic in the way that like you can tell Keanu Reeves is like thinking about, should I go for this guy, even though he knows he's going to go for the other guy. Like, I don't know, that realistic reactionary kind of combat that they're choreographing is really interesting to me, and I found it very entertaining.
They don't have a spider sense. They don't have
Jedi,
have
a spider where it's like, boop.
I know he's gonna come here.
Well, someone kind of does, but he does not, and he gets hit a lot because of that. And I love that.
Yeah.
He's also just like superhuman. His bones are made out of adamantite. The amount of times he got hit by a car was so many. I was like, geez. But what do you think?
I'll just echo you guys. It really is like, this series has done such a good job at staying consistent while just upping the ante each movie. And yeah, I definitely got what I wanted to see in the movie. It was full of action, full of just fun set pieces. And we did get a lot more kind of emotional, quieter scenes that we hadn't really gotten in the past movies, which was really fun. It was just kind of a different little treat thrown in the movie that was, I think, really pleasant and good for it. But overall, I mean, I love these movies. I've praised them over and over again. And for the fourth one, there was kind of a fear of like, is this getting a little stale, or
repetitive?
A little repetitive. But I don't think it is. And we can get more into it in spoilers. But as far as the way it ended, I was cool with it. So
yeah, that was good. All the performances are good. Keanu Reeves obviously kills it. And
they did a nice little like dedicated to what's his name,
Lance Reddick
at the beginning. That was really cool. He had his role to play in the beginning of the movie and throughout, and so that was really cool to see him.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it because like the first three movies have just followed my life so closely.
Yeah.
Like exact, like it's like, wow, it's like I'm watching a movie about myself
and you
every
got
time I
sick
see
of
it.
Because you're like, I've seen this before.
Like, and so I'm excited to see what they do with 4. Obviously.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I like the John Wick movies.
Okay, cool.
I just didn't have time to get out without the family.
You just don't like it that much.
Well, it came out Thursday, Friday, something like that. Thursday.
Yeah.
What do you guys, we're going to get into what you guys' ratings are of it, but what do you guys, as far as like how it lands on compared to the other 3, is this like because I've heard people say this is the best one. I've heard people say it's not the best. So for you guys,
you've heard both.
So for you guys, where does it land as far as
so the problem with me is I haven't seen the other 3 in a really long time. And I'd like to see those 3 before I really make that decision.
I played the 5th. That's what makes sense.
So we're going to pause this episode. I'm going to go watch 3 movies. Then I'll come back. No, I'd say right now it's not my favorite one, but it's definitely not my least favorite. So it's probably in the middle. One of the middles.
It was actually one of my favorites. I think it might be my favorite or number 2. Not because of like everything cumulative, like because it's hard to kind of ignore what 1, 2, and 3 bring to 4, because 4 has kind of extra baggage coming along. You don't have to explain relationships as much. Like there's more depth to the characters. But the thing that really won me over was the dog. No, I'm just kidding. Was the way they ended it. We'll talk about it. But I thought that was done really well.
Yeah.
So it's number 1 or 2. Sorry, I can't. I'd have to watch them again, probably. Yeah. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Oh, this is lame.
It's either
Okay, fine. I'll
we
say
can't answer. We have to watch.
I'm telling you, it's
Hey,
it's
we
either
don't
one
lie,
or two.
okay?
It's either
We
one
gotta
or
be
two.
honest. Yeah, one or
I think
two.
number one,
That's good enough.
I like one a lot
on,
because
man.
it's like such a simple story and like
Yeah.
a cool introduction to the character.
And it was so original, like
Right.
the first one, right?
So,
Trailblazing.
So I think number one is probably still my favorite, but like I said on rewatch, I could see this last one being my favorite because it's already pretty close up there, and I think they wrap things up very well, just like storyline wise and introductions, more introductions to this world. Like they introduced like more little lore stuff. That's I think probably for me the coolest thing about this franchise is just like the overarching lore and like the underground like dynamics between all the groups. So it's really close to being
You
my
want a
favorite.
commitment? Here's how I rank them: 4, 1, 2, 3. Boom, answered.
Satisfied.
Is that best to
4
worst?
best. 1, 2, 3. Boom.
4, 1, no. 1, 4, 2, 3.
2, 3. Yeah.
3 is my least favorite.
Three's my
Still
favorite.
haven't decided
Yes.
choice.
Shove it, Jonah.
All right, so
Let's rate it. Rate it.
Let's give it a rating. What do you
Josh?
guys?
I give
Yeah.
it an 8.
An 8.
It's a solid 8. No, it's higher than that.
I was gonna say.
It's a 8.8.
Wow, that's a that.
That almost went
It
a
is.
full
That,
number.
yeah, I was on a full number of it. Okay,
I'll give
8.8.
it an 8.7.
Oh, I was gonna say 8.7. I'll go with it. 8.7. It's really good.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie. It was fun. Really fun movie.
It made a lot of money too. It's made the most of any of the
The Wicks.
Wicks.
It's the longest one too, which is
Yeah,
was
like
long.
3
I was
hours. Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was awesome.
Nice. Well, if you haven't seen it, go watch it
Yeah.
and then come back for the spoiler
Unless you want
discussion.
it spoiled,
I'm gonna
it's
leave,
fine.
so see you later.
we'll call
No,
you when
but
it's over.
yeah. So spoilers start now for John Wick Chapter 4. Go ahead.
What'd you guys think about the bad guy? I can't remember his name.
The
Pennywise.
the something of whatever it was.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good.
The guy, he has a seat at the table.
Yeah, he's basically the person that the table has assigned basically to be in
deal.
control or to deal with it. I thought he was really good. He has a very punchable face.
Yeah.
And so it's Bill Skarsgård, right?
Yes.
I lose track of all the Skarsgårds.
Stellan is the father.
Yes.
Oh.
But yeah, very punchable face. So I think he had that going for him.
Yeah.
And just generally an annoying character, like in a good way.
Was
like
he French?
yeah, he was
Yeah.
French.
It's funny that they make him French.
Yeah.
Like, poor
Very
French.
punchable face.
Yeah, he really liked art. He was a nice
What a
dresser.
jerk. Yeah, what a jerk.
But yeah, he was definitely like you definitely hated him, and it made sense. So I thought he did a really good job. Like even with the scenes, like he was menacing in the scenes that he was in.
Like the scene with him near the end with the tracker guy, which he's like, "Oh, I want 25 mil,
Yeah.
26 mil," and he's like,
Stabs his
stabs
hand.
him. He's like, "You can remove the knife, or you can just move your hand out of it." Like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Ah."
That was hard to watch.
That was really.
But that's
So
a good way
squirmy.
to kind of like push that character a little bit more evil and stuff like that.
I mean, even especially in the very beginning. I mean, I think it's pretty close to the beginning
Yeah.
where he tells Winston, he's like, "You're getting rid of your hotel," and then he, unfortunately, spoilers. We are in spoiler alert. He kills Sharon,
Yeah.
which is Lance Reddick's character. So
Yeah.
he's like, "You don't need a concierge anymore because you don't have a hotel." So that really kind of already cements him as like, you're the worst.
For me, it felt more deep because of the
Right,
actual
untimely
act.
passing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I was actually kind of like pissed off a little bit. I was like,
I was like, that's yeah.
yeah, I was like,
fault.
It's blame that guy. No,
Skarsgård.
I mean, it was an interesting interaction with the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But what's his name? Gosh, I'm so bad with names. With the guy who got forced out of the not the concierge, but of the
Winston.
Winston.
yeah,
Yeah.
Winston.
Winston?
What'd you guys think about him and his performance?
I thought he was really good. And as far as like his character, I like that he's not like, okay, John Wick, let me help you out and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
He has his own motives. He's like, I'm gonna get my hotel back. And so the whole time he's kind of working with John Wick, but he's also like I'm going to get something out of this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I like the kind of this world in general where it's like everyone's kind of out to do their own thing, kind of a thing. So I really liked it, and he's a really good actor. So I thought it was a good storyline. And then they have good, like really good, like personal moments between the two, like when they're talking about what they're going to put on their tombstone and stuff like that. I thought that was really, like you were saying, make some really of those like personal moments that you don't really get in some of the other movies.
Yeah, I feel like the first movie had a lot of that just because it was the whole setup of, you know, him losing his wife and then the whole meeting behind the dog. And then after that, I feel like there wasn't a lot of like personal attachment to things in the second, third movie. I don't think it really needed it, but obviously for this movie, I think it was really important to bring some of that back into why this character is so loved and just his motivations in the movie. So, but yeah, no, I really liked that a lot, and I think they did a great job with it.
I think it was cool, you know, you bringing up that, how they kind of addressed that lack of, or sorry, I guess maybe like not as strong of a drive. People might ask like, well, what's driving the character to do all this? Because at some point it's like, okay, cool, man. Like you're killing like thousands of people at this point. Like, you're obviously like the best. You're like untouchable. But like, that's why I really respect the ending. Is because the bad guy basically addresses, well, Donnie Yen's character, he's got all this stuff to lose. That's why I'm betting on him.
Yeah.
And John Wick has nothing left. He's just fighting for revenge or whatever. It's not as personal. And it's like they address that in some of the things that they were saying with the theming. And I was like, that's cool because they identify that he is running out of like purpose and like drive. And so it's like they kept foreshadowing like death and timing and dying for what's right and doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, so when they kept like introducing those foreshadowing moments, I was like, this is cool. I'm excited because I love self-sacrifice, that kind of idea of stuff for a hero.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised they kind of did, honestly. Because in this story, they gave him a way out.
Yeah.
You know, there's a clear-cut way out. And so it's interesting.
Yeah, I like with kind of Winston.
Wait, they killed John Wick?
They killed someone, dude.
Well, yeah, spoiler alert. But anyway, I like
why are you here, man? Earmuffs, bro.
I like with what Winston kind of tells him is like, you know, he talks a lot about death, but it's like, oh, living I can't remember what the exact phrase was, but it's like a life well lived, or a good death is a life well from a life well lived. That's how you get a good
death.
A good death.
Death
And
is
so
its own reward.
Good death is its own reward.
And at this point, he's
Zack
like,
Snyder's the blueprint.
anyway, we're talking
You
about,
learned that from
good
like
movies.
just Iliad. You know?
But yeah, I like that. I think in this movie, he's kind of realizing like I'm kind of screwing over all my friends also by association.
Yeah,
like anything he touches, he's like, they're getting screwed over because of me. And I think I like that at the end that he's like, well, let me at least, well, for one, I want to kill this guy, but I'm also going to save my friend who has been trying to kill me, but he's trapped in this situation. So like by him, you know, essentially
it was a lose-lose situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but he's at least like, maybe I can help him out.
Yeah.
Kane was Donnie Yen's character.
Yeah.
He plays he plays another blind
Basically,
martial artist.
another Jedi, blind Jedi in this movie.
It was
too.
crazy. So
Does he die in an explosion?
let's actually talk about him and his character. What do you guys think about him?
I thought he just fit perfectly into the world that they created. He didn't seem like forced in at all. It was like at first the whole blind thing, I was like, nah, that's a little ridiculous. But then like my other side of my brain was like, wait, this is John Wick. I totally buy it. It's totally fine. And they do give him limitations. It's not like the character from Rogue One where he's more.
I did like how they did that, where he had the doorbell things he would put up, and then he would stop, and he's like hitting stuff around. I'm like, it's not just like I just magically know where everything is. Like he actually acts like a blind person, where it's like I can at least allow it. You know what I mean? Like it's
they're trying.
We've already stated this is ridiculous, but at least they're like making the effort of like putting in little things like that makes it seem like, oh, okay, I'll buy into it.
Yeah, I think initially I was kind of like, okay. Yeah. I wasn't okay with it initially, but then you kind of start finding out more stuff about his story and his background, and then what he's fighting for, you know, his daughter, and then you just kind of see him interact with John, and you know, so it's just nice to sit next to a friend, and you see all this cool like interaction where I'm like, it's cool, whatever. Yeah. He's so bad at it with a sword. He's like so fast. He's like,
it's crazy.
It's like, dang.
He's just walking by people.
Yeah, dude. I was like, you could do that. Like that was realistic. So yeah, what'd you say?
Yeah, that first scene in the Tokyo,
Osaka.
On the Osaka, the Continental there was awesome. Like even just build up to it. I was like, okay, all right, let's go,
dude. I love how he's slurping on some ramen, dude, and that like ducked. I was like, what the heck?
But yeah, just that whole fight scene. I thought the daughter was really cool. Like even her fighting was like, I mean,
she wasn't annoying for me,
right?
That's what I was kind of like.
And that's what I like about like especially her fighting is that it's, I mean, this is ridiculous, right? Anyway, but like it's her fighting style is believable, whereas she's not just like beating the crap out of these dudes. She's using their weight as leverage, and she's faster than them.
She's not kicking them halfway across the room,
right? So it's like in my mind, I'm like, I buy into this. She's using her skills in a specific way that I'm not like, that's ridiculous. That guy's twice her size. There's no way that he would, you know.
For such a fantastical world, the fighting really is pretty realistic compared to other action movies around. Like,
okay,
in comparison, yeah.
I mean, it's way over the top.
I do get a little caught on the. Let me put my collar up so I don't get shot in the face.
No, dude, he's pulling it over like that.
I know.
Boom, blocked.
I know.
He's also a vampire.
Like, homie never took a bullet to the hand.
Never did.
Crazy. Like, yeah. I mean, you're right. In the grand scheme of all ridiculous and fiction, it's not too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, or even just like the way she fought with the bow. There were some pretty cool scenes of like her taking the dudes out.
Yeah. I love seeing kind of like interactions with. Also, we had to see some like nunchuck fighting.
That was I loved that. I love that cool.
Because it was cool. He like almost like he lost one of them, and he was like doing a two-handed version, which you never see. You always see this like flourishy, showboaty kind of nunchuck style, but with him it was like big swings, like realistic. Like if you really want power. Yeah, the wind up and like that is cool, but like also just like bang, you know, just from chop him on the head is really effective as well, and that was really cool.
It's cool too because nunchucks are primarily a defensive weapon anyway, so to see him be so effective with it being offensive is just it's so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
So that we got a little bit of kind of near the end, we got to see some like vehicle fighting, chase scenes and stuff like that. What do you guys think about all that?
Oh, like
so there was the
Arc de Triomphe, is that what?
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Because there was some CGI usage there. There's green screen. How'd you guys feel about all the looks and feels of all of that?
I think some of that, like Frogger stuff that they were doing, in that scene, I think it was a little green screeny CGI. It honestly didn't bother me that much, but it was like, okay, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm identifying that. Yeah. Okay, maybe it took you out for like a split second, but. It was still fine. What did you think about it?
At that point, I was 100% into it, so I was just like, you know what I mean?
Homie's
like,
getting hit like 10 times.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Apparently, the little trick he does where he like
drift
and pick it up. Apparently, he really did.
I mean, I was watching that super carefully because I was like, I guarantee you, he wanted to do this one. It's not like ultra like dangerous. It just would take some skill to drift correctly and then grab the
gun. Yeah. That's pretty sweet. That's the one thing about Keanu Reeves. You're like, you're doing all your stuff.
He does he does what he can. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
What did you guys think about the tracker character?
I thought he was. I really liked him. His gun was really cool.
Little lever action.
Yeah, it was sweet. But I was expecting more of a reveal with him because they kind of set up like. He's got a notebook with John Wick's all this information in there, and then they kind of alluded to like, well, how are you tracking him? That's
why? Like,
yeah, he was like, how are you doing this? And I thought we would get kind of a reveal that he had maybe some type of connection to John Wick.
He's my dad.
Or
he killed his uncle.
yeah, exactly.
My uncle.
But they never
So that can still happen.
Yeah, maybe.
but they never really it never really went anywhere. But I thought he was a cool character, and he had a cool dog. So
I think it was believable because as you saw him like flip through the pages, like he had those locations already like noted and stuff like that, and so maybe he had been tracking him before that.
yeah,
Kind of seeing his movements in preparation for that. But I will say it was interesting seeing a character almost team up with him, but also wanting to kill him at the same time. And so he was taking out other assassins at the same time, like protecting John so that he could then kill John. Like,
right.
Because he wanted the bounty.
That was an interesting kind of like, angle with it, I guess. And another spoiler, because we're doing spoilers, he has a moment where they're fighting in this broken down building, and he has a dog, he has a Malinois.
Cool sequence.
And John ends up saving his dog because he has that connection with dogs, right?
Yeah.
And he could have killed the tracker guy. Instead, he saved the dog. And so the tracker guy instantly creates this bond with John. And so later down the road, that pays off for John. And so that was kind of cool. I like that moment.
That was cool.
He later on becomes John's dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Full circle.
For sure.
You should watch the movie.
He's watching it right now.
That's probably one of my favorite scenes I've seen in an action movie, any movie in a long time.
So cool.
The top down shot, one take
continuous
going.
shot.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it was
so-
amazing.
So they do this shot where they have the set have basically the walls cut off at the top, and there's no ceiling. They've got this floating camera tracking him over a top-down game. Like it felt like a video game.
It was awesome.
Specifically, it felt, and music-wise, it also sounded similar to this game called Hotline Miami, which is like a 16-bit game where you're angling around the corner of the buildings and you're top down. It's a shooter. Bullet hell is what they call them. It felt exactly like a video game.
Yeah. Also, they had like fire rounds. So
Incendiary
rounds.
12-gauge shotgun.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Blowing people
Just
away.
goes to show, shotgun is the best like home defense, like close quarters shot. Like you can't miss, and it blows them back hard.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
I think for me that was the highlight of the movie. To be honest, like I loved that whole
Really?
scene. I was just like,
Well, it was very unique.
it was really cool.
Very unique.
It-
Very
yeah,
cool.
I like one take. I like one take. It's like really cool, but then like flipping it and doing one take up,
doing
top
something new
down.
with
It was like I hadn't seen it before.
I will say, maybe this is just me getting older, and maybe this also might be a thing that you would have a problem with is, so they're going like this in one motion, and then all of a sudden, so he's like shooting and stuff, and then they turn it. And that threw me a little bit. I was I didn't like want to throw
Jonah's
up or
gonna throw
anything,
up, dude. He's
but I
gonna-
got a little not
Stomach.
woozy or anything, but I was like,
Right.
it's not the best like motion wise for me. When they got me all like in this momentum, and then they like switched the perspective like sideways, and then they followed that way. That was a little weird for me, but it was so unique and so cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
It felt like a video game. And
was
I would
awesome.
say a lot of so that was a cool little like video game feel. On the Arc area, what'd you say?
Triumph.
Triumph.
There were a couple scenes where he was like next to a van, and it felt like, those shooter arcade games where like the zombies come up and you have a little gun and it's like ping, 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 and like you and a partner are like defending.
Yeah.
It's like a set piece, and then the enemies come to them, right? It felt like that in a lot of circumstances because they drive up, they jump out of the car, and he'd be like in cover,
Right.
framed up like a video game, and then he'd be like, boop, 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 and you like, get out of cover and fight. And that felt kind of video gamey to me. I was like, that's kind of cool. So there's a lot of really unique and they kept the framing and cinematography fresh for me. I think that's key when you do something that's so heavy in action. As long as you can keep it fresher, I think that's good. But
yeah, it was really good. Yeah, like even like the club scene with the water, like
that was cool.
they just mix up visuals to like keep it interesting, which is cool.
I almost had another MODOK incident in
With
this
the
movie.
guy?
With the
When?
The gold tooth guy.
When?
Well, just his character
Or just
design
in general?
is just a little ridiculous.
Really?
And again, I was
He
sitting
felt
there.
like Penguin.
He
Dude.
was. I mean, he was fine.
I thought
but
he looked like Ben Affleck in a fat suit.
I was also sitting next to a friend of the show, Will, again, and he was kind of giggling the same way that we had in MODOK situation. So I was just trying to like. Luckily, it didn't happen, but it was in the back of my mind because he was a great character.
Yeah.
He did. I think it was Scott Adkins that was playing him, but yeah, just such a creepy, gross guy that definitely I think got what he deserves. So.
Yeah, I didn't take it as funny personally, but more gross. Like more.
I'm just
like
more immature.
But yeah, I think it was really good. We can talk about the end.
I mean, we already kind of
Basically did, but I think that I think the connections that he made with the characters was really well developed. I'm not too sure on the tracker guy. I think it worked in the movie. I think early I was like, this feels forced. And it feels like, because before I watched the movie, I read somewhere that they wanted to do a TV series.
They
So
are
I'm
doing
like-
a TV series.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so what are they going to do to kind of like force this? Like, how are they going to lead this into a TV series? And I would assume it's going to be after the girl, but I'm not sure. It might be the tracker guy. Not sure. Did they say?
No, it's
just about the.
it's about the
It's called the
Continental.
Continental.
Oh, so it's about.
It's
what's
just
his
about-
face?
And it has Mel Gibson in it.
And then isn't there a show
And then
with Anna
it's a
Faris?
movie.
A movie.
Or a movie?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm saying
A movie
Those characters
prequel.
could be a part of it.
The ballerina? Is that
The
what's-
ballerina.
They said it. I thought they said it takes place between 3 and 4.
So for
That's what I heard.
me, I thought
Prequel to 4?
Yeah.
I thought they were doing the tracker guy to kind of like make a
Set it
new
up.
character for setup with the TV series. So if that's not the case, then okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of my complaints about the movie. If that isn't the case, then
Yeah.
like I feel like
Did it feel
his
a
purpose
little...
wasn't really necessary. Like he's a character you could take out of the movie and it doesn't really change anything. But if they do more with him down the road, I could see that being kind of a cool, introduction to him. Because I think the lesson that he learns is like the table and all of this hierarchy stuff is kind of BS.
Yeah.
Because at the end he's kind of laughing at what just happened.
Yeah.
Finds it pretty amusing. So.
Homie had a beer in his back, a bulletproof backpack, and it didn't get shattered through all of that.
It was in his bulletproof backpack,
Bulletproof beer
Bulletproof
bottle.
beer.
Bulletproof doesn't mean impact proof, guys.
In this world, it does. In this world, it
Let's be
does.
honest. It's like a force field. Let's
Yep,
be honest.
pretty much.
It really
He's got a little suit around it. It was one of those Kevlar suits.
The bottle's going
yeah.
over my neck.
So yeah, I think that the ending was really creative. I think having them in a lose-lose situation, but then kind of being very talented and not killing each other, and then kind of him purposefully not shooting on the last shot
Yeah.
to save that bullet for the real guy. That was awesome. I think that was really well done because I didn't predict that. And when I can't predict, it's always such a joy for me. I love those moments because most story beats are pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Especially like a minute out. You'll know how it's gonna work, but
We
that
call
was
Corey
surprising.
Nostradamus because he figures out how the endings of movies.
That's right.
Well, and also just the way that they did it
That's good.
in such a Western-y type of way. Because I view these movies as Westerns. I think they have a very similar DNA to a lot of Western movies, like the whole revenge plot. Obviously, like there's guns and killing. Like it just feels like that to me.
Horses.
Horses, desert stuff.
Cowboy hats.
Dogs.
Yeah, I'm sure. Dogs. But no, just that was such a cool way to end it. And it was like drawn out enough where it felt like that was deserved. Like it didn't end too fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think one of the things though, I think maybe I was just expecting more of like a complete dismantlement of the whole
The table.
table, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And we really didn't get that.
It was
And-
interesting because it felt like they were just reinforcing the fact that it's almost impossible.
Yeah. And I thought like
If you
that
knock
was
one down, another will replace
right.
it.
And I thought that was kind of what John's mission was to try to do. And it
Yeah.
didn't happen.
I was half expecting them to kind of lean in. Maybe if they're going to do like 2 or 3 more of the John Wick series, like movies, maybe they would have changed it to like more of a, yeah, let's start a rebellion. Let's like build an army and like all these friends are going to, but they didn't. And so I kind of liked that. I liked how they ended it. I'm going to be honest. It felt like satisfying. Felt like the character had a good end. It's like he had nothing else to fight for. In the end, he saved his friends, the people who were he hurt the most. He saved them, except for the Osaka owner guy. But I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I was pleased with it.
I think I was fine with it because I think Winston, he kind of even says, is like, where does this end?
Right.
Like, what you literally can't do that. Yeah. And I think it leaves it in a good spot where it's like maybe the other Continentals are like, and come to the realization that it's like, we need more of a stake in this. We need a say at the high table or whatever. And maybe that's something they explore in other shows or movies down the line. But yeah, I thought it was a good ending. I was confused too, because they originally said they greenlit 4 and 5. And so both Mick and I were like, well, okay. But apparently I just saw an article, an interview with the director and the writer. And they were saying that they originally greenlit 4 and 5, but then they were like, let's just make one movie and put all our efforts into one movie. That
explains a lot, because this movie, we talked about, it's the longest movie and there's a lot in it. Yeah. So I could see that.
So they were like, decided to make one movie instead of splitting it into 2. But then, of course, they also had said, well, the studio has, we don't know what the studio has planned, but we're done for now with the John Wick story.
Yeah, and I think for as far as I'm concerned, the John Wick story is over. Yeah, and I think it was a great way to sum it up. I wanted to talk. We've said so many great things. Were there any bad things you guys wanted to kind of mention to kind of maybe warn people like, oh, well, if you don't like this, like maybe not so great. Like I think maybe attention span for people if they're not super enthralled in the gunfighting. Obviously, John Wick is probably not a movie for you.
Not for you.
You have to be into that. I will say a weaker spot for me was some of the music. I think some of it was forgettable. And man, I swear, if people do Paint It Black another time, I like that they did it, not the vanilla version of it. It was like a slower version or something like that. I don't know. It was a different version. It was some kind of cover.
They should have done a Weird Al version.
I know you like that song a lot, but
no.
Oh, I thought you were the one who really liked
Jonah loved it in Black Adam.
Someone you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Rolling Stones, so
I don't think so.
Anyway,
the thing that threw me off was the line before that was "Let's paint them red,"
and then they play black.
I'm like, wait a minute,
that's the wrong color.
You picked wrong.
Yeah.
So I was distracted the rest of the movie because of that.
But yeah, I don't know.
1 out of 10. Can't recommend it.
Terrible.
But yeah, I don't know. The music wasn't like amazing in my opinion, but it was all right. It was. I
think all of the like, there's a specific John Wick theme. I think that's great. I think some of the like, a lot of the fighting music that's going on is really just like kind of dance, like electronic dance.
Well, I mean, when
music.
they're in a rave, like that like generic, trance, whatever.
But yeah, like the Paint It Black thing didn't really.
I didn't like that.
It didn't really do anything for me.
Yeah, it was forget. I just ignored it basically.
So I'm saying that's something that could have been improved on this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think one thing, there are 2 parts that got a little into the ridiculous part of it, but I just rolled with it.
Yeah,
and that's when he jumps out the window and just hits the car.
That's 4 floors.
I was like,
it was 4 floors.
Okay.
I leaned up.
And he didn't even fall flat.
No,
like he would have like it was on the corner of it, which is the hardest part of a car's frame.
Dude,
and homie just got up.
So I leaned over to Josh afterwards. And I was like, I thought he was going to land in water.
Nope, it was straight up.
Nope, it was a van to the ground.
It was just kind of jarring to me, and then I was like, okay, that's what we're doing. And then the last one that seemed a little ridiculous to me was when he gets thrown down the stairs. And it's like,
okay,
they really.
I know they had
that. Was that supposed to be a everyone laughs in the theater?
No,
moment?
It was not,
because it felt like it.
I think
it was so ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's like, oh my gosh, he made it all the way up, and then he goes back down again. It was funny to me.
It felt like Princess Bride.
Yes, it did. It did.
I thought he was gonna be like, I understand that they were trying to show you that like
impossible.
He went up all these stairs, and now got thrown down, and now has to make it all the way up. But they could have cut it down. That's one of
Did
my
it
complaints.
have the effect on you like the glass stuff in the last movie?
Yes.
It's just too much.
It was just too much.
I could see that.
I 100% agree with you on that.
I got the point, and the
stair
girl
scene.
even mentioned like, "Oh, she has to make it up these
Yeah.
300 stair or whatever the number was."
Yeah.
So I'm like, I already know that it's a really far way up. I didn't have to see him roll down every single one of those, and then even later they throw him down another flight, and I was
Yeah.
like,
There's more.
"Okay, come on."
Yeah.
But
John Wick stairs.
for
Yeah,
me,
seriously, you can make a funny video where he just falls.
he's just
like,
rolling.
infinitely.
You know those ones where he's like going in the galaxies. That's what it should
That'd be
be.
great, actually.
But yeah,
Jonah, get on it.
for
Name
me,
it up.
that was the weakest part. Like, it was just a moment where I was
okay,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay, that was a little ridiculous."
Yeah,
but
fair.
This is that movie series though to do that type of stuff.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
But I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, the movie requires a lot of buy-in, but if you do buy in, it's super fun. It's a super fun watch. So, yeah,
Nice.
is that pretty much?
Yeah,
all you
that's
guys?
pretty much it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, John Wick 4. It's pretty good. I mean, that was pretty much the final time we're gonna see Keanu as John Wick. Maybe he might do something.
They said he's in the ballerina movie.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because it's
okay.
well, at least that's what I had read,
Yeah.
is that it
Oh, okay,
takes
cool.
place between 3 and 4.
Never mind.
So we will see him back as John Wick. I don't know about the Continental though. Stuff's starting to come out about that, but
It's supposed to come out this year, and it's supposed to be on Peacock.
I thought they said Amazon.
Maybe I misunderstood. I thought
Peacock would be the worst spot for.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The Continental
I wouldn't watch it.
on
if,
Peacock.
Or it's a
Peacock is
different
annoying.
show that's connected to John Wick. I don't know if it's that, but I was reading
I
something.
think it
that
is
was,
Peacock.
But
We'll see.
anyway, we'll see.
All right.
Well, that's it for the John Wick 4 review. What's
We're
next on the
gonna
docket?
move on to the Mandalorian,
Episode 4?
For the Foundling.
chapter 20,
Yeah.
because they go. The Foundling. What do you guys think? Short episode.
Well, we got a sweet vision
got a sweet
memory.
reveal.
It was good. I liked it actually. I I think the Mandalorian part of it, where like they all go and try to save the kid from the dragon or whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard stuff, right? It felt kind of like episodic, like
cartoony.
kind of like Clone Wars.
They
Kind
need
of
to
deal.
stay off that beach.
Yeah,
bad
dude, what
place
the
to
heck,
be.
bro? Like,
Find
he's like,
somewhere
this
else.
is the third kid that's been taken.
I think though. I think that's
Mandalorians.
I
They're
think
not gonna, they ain't no punks. They're not going to be like.
Yeah, well, prepare for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Tie the kids down.
They're
on
bad.
A rock
They're
or
bad
something.
Weigh him
Mandalorians.
down.
Yeah, weigh him down. But sorry. I was saying, yeah, I think that part was fine, but the part with Grogu and the flashback was what it was all about, baby. What's his name?
Kelleran.
Keller
Beck.
Beck. Yeah.
Who apparently is the voice actor for Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Ahmed
Yeah.
Best. Yeah.
Everyone's like, Jar Jar Binks, he's
He really did save Grogu.
doing
After
it.
He did,
all.
yeah.
Well, and there's actually people think it is still Jar Jar because it's from
like sent
'Cause the
by
ship.
him.
because the ship is
Yeah, it was
from
Naboo. It was in
Right.
Naboo.
and he is I guess the only senator at this point from Naboo, so they still think that he is behind saving.
That'd be kind of. I mean,
that was Naboo troops then? With
Yeah.
the red
Yeah, Naboo
armor?
troops
Yeah,
and
so
the
that
security
makes sense.
team.
Jar Jar, hey.
Two
Yeah,
Jar Jars.
I think
Darth Jar Jar.
there's between that and Padme, that as Padme was seeing the Jedi Temple burning, she's like, hey,
Go save Baby Yoda.
well, she
Wasn't she-
no,
she
but
was flying
she
off
doesn't
to
know,
Mustafar, and she's like, "Hey, you got to get to the Jedi Temple." I want that scene.
But like,
Wasn't she like dying at
but
that
like,
point?
I
Or,
don't
like,
think
knocked out?
I don't think it's a part. No, because she sees.
I think she's in her apartment.
Yeah, she
Anakin
is.
comes
She's the
back,
fire.
right?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
No, but it's not. So
That's right.
I've heard some people be like, "Oh, the reason they saved Grogu because he's special." I was like, "No, I think it was
They were
Jedi
just-
saving younglings in general,
Right.
Because in Obi-Wan we see it's a similar scene with younglings, and they get
Destroyed.
intercepted by Anakin, and that's why they get killed,
right.
And that's why even Kelleran's like, he's like, "Where are the rest of them?" He's
Right.
like, "There is no."
There's none.
So
They
I
were
think it
looking
was
for
just
more.
like
They were just
evacuate the kids,
I
get
mean,
the kids out of there.
realistically, the reason why he survived is because he had freaking safe pod.
Yeah.
Like, he was chilling, dude.
So
Yeah.
there's nothing special about Grogu.
No, nothing at all.
No, I don't think anything that's going to be revealed.
He's not the chosen one.
I just think it's And the reason the Empire wants him is because they're looking for someone, Force user, to make a strand cast for Palpatine. I think that's kind of... And the fact that the Yoda species lives longer than so many others. Valuable. I think that's why he's... Yeah. I think it's valuable for the Jedi because they're like, hey, he can continue on for years, right? For 700 years, the teachings, and also for experiments.
He's got good genes.
Is there any other race that lives as long as Yoda?
I don't know.
Elves.
Yes.
That is true.
Hi, elves.
Numenorians,
I think they can go like over 1,000. I think.
They're like, sup, Yoda. Get wrecked.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the little paintball fight?
That was fun. Does a backflip.
That was one of those situations where I was like, it's a little... Why didn't the other kid just blast him 3 in a row? He should have just...
I was thinking. I think that's
he's getting preferential treatment because he shot him and he's like, point for him. And then Baby Yoda can just be like, shot him 3 times. He's like, 3 points, you're done.
Man, there's no real rules with Mandalorians, bro.
There is rules. You
can't even take your helmet
off. Yeah. You have to say, this is the way all the time.
This is the way, Jonah.
Jonah, you do not speak unless you know, or whatever the line is. Right? One does not speak if he does not know.
That's right.
That's a rule right there.
And he also got that sick armor plate at the end.
That was pretty sweet. I was curious what they were going to do.
I thought they were going to put it on top of his head.
You know what I thought it was? I was like, holy crap, Jonah's right. That's a freaking buckler, and he's gonna wield the freaking dark saber.
Baby.
I was like,
baby.
I'm on it, bro.
No, but did
that would be so bad if he had a freaking shield with a sword.
Can we agree how ridiculous his little blaster thing looked on him? Now imagine he's holding a giant dark saber.
Guys, he's not gonna hold a dark saber as a baby. He's gonna grow. There's gonna be time jumps.
He's gonna grow.
He's still gonna be the size of a baby.
He's gonna grow like a foot, and that's it.
Yoda was pretty tall.
Not again. We're not talking about this again.
I'm saying
compared to Babu Fricks, he's pretty tall.
Yeah,
he is.
True,
see,
Babu Frick.
Now
definitely.
Babu Frick with a dark saber would look weird.
He just put
but a Yoda with a dark saber.
He put like a rocket pack on and just fly around with that thing and just.
Besides, I'm pretty sure the dark saber like adjusts to like who wields it.
Not the hilt.
The hilt's not that big.
Do you think it's like a D&D item? It like scales to
I'm
your
just
size?
saying. I'm just
awesome.
saying from animation to live action, it's the size has changed. Whatever, it happens.
I think the hilt's like.
Have you seen Dooku in the Clone Wars? In the animated show? Yeah. Does he look anything like?
I'm saying from when Sabine holds a dark saber to when
anyway, we're not
Gideon.
Anyway, yeah. What do you think, Mick, about the episode?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, for what they told in the story, 30 minutes was fine, I guess. But I just couldn't help thinking about the previous episode that was an hour that to me was a little bit boring. And then this episode, which was awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
Which was a little shorter.
Let's swap the times.
Yeah, so there was that. But overall, I thought it was fine. I agree. The whole dragon kidnap thing was, I feel, kind of standard. Like, the highlight of the episode really was seeing who saved Grogu and seeing more of like probably what's going to come after that too. So.
And you said Filoni did this episode.
He helped write it.
Part of it.
I don't know Ahsoka. I was surprised.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is, you know, we have this discussion on whether Bo-Katan was hiding it from
she came out
Din.
with it, straight up.
I think that kind of goes to my side a little bit, that she was just...
Really?
Yes.
I took it the complete opposite way. She's claiming the mythosaur for herself.
Wait.
What? So,
Rewind.
sorry,
what
she came out and she talked with the leader.
The armor.
And she's like, I saw a mythosaur straight up.
I was surprised that she did that.
Yeah,
she's like,
that's what I'm
would
saying.
you think if I saw a mythosaur? She'd be like, nah, that'd be great. She's like, no, I really did. She's like, this is the way.
Whatever you say.
This is the motherfucking way.
No, because
I wonder if she still is like, yeah, okay, still. You know what I mean? Do you think she truly believes her?
No, I think
she believes that she saw it.
That she thought she saw it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm with you. Yeah. But anyway,
I think the armor. I think the armor is that way, where she doesn't really be like, oh yeah, okay, but she's more of like uses her words to kind of lead people a certain way, because that's what she's done with Din. Certain things. So even when she's saying, she's like, I think, what would you say if I saw a mythosaur? And she's like, well, you see a lot of things when you join the way, right? Like There's certain things. I think she's kind of just leading a certain way. But where you take it as like, oh, she tried to claim the mythosaur, I took it as with Din, it was like, did you see something? Because she's not sure. And as she sees the Children of the Watch and how they are connected with this stuff, and as she sees more of the armor and how she's accepted her, I think that's why she's willing to ask her more about it. Not that she wants to say, like, I claim the mythosaur, because there's not really anything about if you see a mythosaur, that means a certain something, right?
No, but it's,
so to me,
it's the
like,
sign of your clan, though. That's like significant to whoever you are.
And no one
And
had seen one,
her
right?
being like, what if I want that as my seal from now on? Like, I'm forever tied to this. Like, that's what
but
she's asking.
No, but the armor says, she's like, what if I could put this? And the armor says, the mythosaur belongs to everybody.
Right.
Correct.
But,
Right,
but
so-
what's her intention? She's not asked. She's like, can I claim this is why she's asking it, because she wants to put it on there. The fact that the armor says it belongs to everybody, that doesn't change Bo-Katan's intentions in asking in the first place.
But then I don't think she would have revealed that she's seen the mythosaur, because she asks about it. She's like, what would you do if I told you that I saw one, a live one? You know, her asking isn't a thing like, I want to get an advantage out of this. She's a child with renewing her faith. That's what it seems like to me, that she's asking these things because she's curious now. She's dismissed all this stuff. That's legends. I grew up with this. This is just like religion. And this group has more of a view of it that's more like faith. And so to me, it seems like what they've been showing us with her kind of growth is last episode, we saw them all accepting her. And she's like, this is the cult. Why are they all accepting me? We've had fights. Everyone else left me in the lurch, right? All the people that I was close to. And this group, which I've always spoken bad about, just because I'm redeemed, now they're accepting me.
that's exactly how
seeing
cults
this,
work, Jonah.
And she's seeing this. And so now she's asking the question because she's like, she's warming to this group of Mandalorians. That's what I'm seeing it different than where you're
and
like,
I'm seeing someone that's like, I am finally in a position of leadership now. She's still helping the group, and they even say, "Oh, you're the leader of the war party." But I still see it as, I think she has a different angle in this situation. For me, I see this as it's a chance for her to get a group of people back that will lead her, because it's what she's been
You're
missing.
seeing this as an opportunity for her to use them.
That's what I think. I think she's, because she had her group before and they abandoned her.
Now,
That's what I think.
could it be the same thing though? Like, you guys might be talking about the same end
Oh,
goal,
100%.
right?
But
Like,
I'm right and Jonah's wrong.
The intention is using, but the intention is uniting, right? But the end result is they work with her.
That she's bad.
No, well,
No, I'm just
that's what
kidding.
I don't
Josh is
know.
saying.
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. How did she become
Listen,
bad in
and
this
saying
situation?
and saying bad, yeah, I guess
Right.
bad. I think she has ulterior motives.
Is
Is
the
what I'm
end
saying.
result
sure, yeah.
just
She's
the
selfish.
difference of her becoming the leader of this group or becoming one of the followers? Is that kind of what you guys are?
Josh is saying
I think
she
it's-
wants this so that she becomes the leader of Mandalore.
And you are saying,
And I'm saying that she has been burned out, and so she's really not necessarily going to be the villain of this series or this season, because I think she's being like, she's down at the bottom and she's kind of
You're saying she's
regaining a
finding
love
herself.
for the culture of Mandalore that she had lost through this group of people that she thought was a cult.
Which isn't necessarily like you guys can share the same space with
No,
your
I know.
theories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in his eyes,
But
Josh
one
is
is, there needs to be some bad guy. I think she might be a longer term bad guy who kind of like betrays them a little bit
Josh
at the
is-
end, or just uses
Yeah.
them for,
Because
for
Josh-
selfish reasons.
Because Josh thinks that she's the villain of this season, because we said he thought she was going to be the antagonist.
We also said what's his face
Everything.
was.
Well, I think Moff Gideon
Yeah,
is,
which we haven't really
but
seen
so
yet.
everything Josh sees through her is he sees it with she's doing
Yeah.
Well, and
sneaky
same with you,
things,
right?
and I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm seeing her
because
stuff
he
as
thinks
like,
he's going to be Grogu's mama.
Well,
I think Din and her are gonna.
That'd be so
are gonna-
dumb. I would stop watching the show.
No, you
It would be,
wouldn't.
it'd be
Stop
lazy writing.
No, it
lazy
wouldn't.
writing. Hey,
No, it
here's a
wouldn't.
female Mandalorian character. Hey, he
Yo.
needs a mom. Hey, he needs a wife.
and
Let's
he's
put them together.
and he wields the Darksaber, and you're
Yeah.
doubly gone. You're out.
I don't know. Both of you make really good arguments. I don't know what to buy into.
We'll find
I'm
out.
just
find
gonna
out.
jump
It'll
on
be
the
good.
bandwagon when it like becomes way more clear.
When
like, I
Moff
knew-
Gideon shows up in this next episode and he's clearly the bad guy, then you know I was right.
So what happens if Moff Gideon shows up and then at the end of the season we see Bo-Katan do something to betray? There's a problem. You're viewing everything as right and wrong, and Corey's right. We can both be right.
Well, that was a quick flip. See how
That's
Josh
one of the
flips so
first
quick?
times that happened. Let's
Flip-flopper.
go. See,
No, but I'm saying like
He's
at the
nicely
end,
found.
if she betrays Din at the end of the season, are you gonna be like, well, she wasn't the main villain?
Well, you said
That's what
she
you're gonna
was.
say.
You said they were setting up for that she was going to be the bad antagonist in this thing, and
I'll
I said
say
she wasn't.
That's antagonist
She's not
behavior.
the antagonist.
But then I would be closer to being right because she was closer to being an antagonist than not being an antagonist.
I think
don't
yeah,
think so.
I think you guys are both going to be right to some degree. I think she is going to have some selfish moves in the end, but I think ultimately they'll be maybe uniting or for the betterment of Mandalore. Hopefully,
She's gonna decapitate
I hope
Grogu with the Darksaber. Mark my words. Write it down right now. That's my prediction.
He's literally like he's not even awake. He's
Season
sleeping
fin-
in a
season
little
finale.
crib.
He tries to pull Luke,
Man, yeah,
Next episode is
see.
41 minutes long, apparently.
and we're already halfway through the season, right?
Yeah.
good.
crazy.
We need a bad guy.
Do you guys? Yeah. Do you guys have a problem with like? I've seen people be like, well, what are we doing? Like,
No.
what's the point?
I mean, I could see that.
I
haven't
honestly,
felt that though.
Yeah, I honestly don't care. Like for me, I just like seeing more. Like even this episode, it was like I've seen people complaining about it being like, "Oh, this was filler," and I'm like,
that filler is the word that people use all the time. Just
Well,
doesn't.
it feels like in some cases it's a synonym to character building and
well,
story building.
that's
and
the
world building.
problem.
Yeah,
It's like in this episode, we got more advancement on the story, like Grogu's story.
Yeah.
Obviously, we get more backstory on the Mandalorians. Like we finally learned, oh, he doesn't wear a helmet because he can't say the creed yet.
Yeah,
So
that was
like
awesome.
just those little nuggets of getting that. We also get finally like a full circle moment with Din saving Ragnar, which is
Paz Vizsla's son.
Vizsla's son.
which was awesome because they have that now newfound respect.
Right. And now he's like, thank you for saving him. And he's like,
they're
hey,
homies.
this is the way. So it's
homies.
like,
This is the
you
way.
get an advancement of that. And then you get the stuff with Bo-Katan to like learning more about the culture, trying to exploit it for evil purposes.
There it is.
I was about to jump in there.
But no, like a bunch of character development. I thought
taking advantage of goodwill.
it was really
Yeah.
cool. And then I liked how they brought in the little baby. They're like,
Homie's got
we
baby
have
dragons.
more foundlings. We got some more
Homie's
foundlings.
just got 3 full dragons.
I thought that was pretty
That was the
sweet.
part I didn't like.
Really? Why?
It just looked goofy.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
as they're coming off the thing, and like one Mandalorian's like holding a piece of meat. I was just like, okay.
Did you think
Goof.
Baby Yoda jumping around looked goofy?
Sorry.
Yeah, but that's different. We've been used to Baby Yoda and not these like
Where's
three
the line,
bird
Jonah?
things.
Where's the line?
It did not look goofy to you
Be
guys?
consistent. Be consistent.
I would say size-wise, the amount of people that were in that ship versus
They're
the
super
amount of
hungry.
how big those dragons.
Yeah, they
little
had a
guys
piece of
were,
meat on there.
It was a little. It was stretching.
It was goofy.
volume-wise inside that ship.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
it'd be a tight fit. It didn't look the highest quality like CGI, but it was fine. It was acceptable range in my opinion. It was acceptable. Hey, bro, they're gonna be dragons, dude. Okay, dude, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
they'll
awesome.
ride them.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
I did let
Why
one.
are you hating, bro?
I don't
think
know,
they're evil
dude.
too, bro?
Yeah,
I just
dude.
said it looked a little goofy. I wasn't a big fan of it.
They're fulfilling their creed and taking in foundlings. And John's like, "They look kind of dumb."
Aw,
It did. It looked goofy.
They're just babies, bro. Oh,
I did really like when Grogu had the flashback. I love how that mirrored when Din has his flashback
Yeah,
during
perfect.
the armor. Like
The
it really was
banging
like
of
the
the
same shots
hammers.
and framing. I mean, a huge part of the Star Wars universe is, it's poetry, it rhymes, blah, blah. So I like that callback a lot. I thought that was pretty cool.
Someone needs to sit Bo-Katan in front of that so we can get a flashback of her. I'm pretty sure that's how it
yeah.
works. Anyone that sits down there, they're like, "Start hitting it."
yeah.
Flashback.
I guess I mean, she did sit down, right? She just didn't have a
She didn't have-
flashback.
Oh, I guess no, she didn't. But she did make the stuff for her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up
Dang,
with
we
that?
didn't get a flashback.
didn't
That
show the
inconsistency,
Wow,
guys.
this show
It was probably an evil
These writers are
flashback, though, right?
He's kind of losing it. Yeah. I love how Grogu was like sitting at the kids' table. It's like a table made for him. He's just like a little tiny like. It was pretty cute.
Yeah, I did like that little the little crabs at the beginning. So like they
hermit
keep
crabs,
showing us like his connection with nature, just like Ezra. So I think that's cool to keep seeing that.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, it's cool at first because you could be mistaken and think like,
I
oh,
thought
they're
they were
rocks.
rocks.
or
Yeah, he's
something.
moving them.
I will say the CG on that was a little wonky, and I was
Oh,
like,
why don't you say anything about Corey?
Oh, be consistent, bro.
well, it's a different scene.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
It was. I mean, obviously, some scenes have more attention than the others. The full dragon, that was awesome.
It
That
did
was
look-
really good.
That looked like a puppet when it spit him out. Was that real?
Oh,
A real
when
dragon?
when
I
he
don't think
came
so.
out, when he was at the nest,
Yeah.
that was a real dragon. They got a real one. I don't know how they did that. Anyway, sorry, John. I'm making him roll his eyes. I'm just joking around.
I mean, I don't know,
laughing
this
at
guy,
John.
this is no fun guy over here. Let's talk about Zack Snyder instead. Yeah.
All right. Anything else about the episode, or should we move on?
There's something good.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
What?
No. We already said that Keller and Beck was cool.
Yeah, he's freaking.
Yeah, and he was from, I can't remember the show, but
It looked awesome.
My little
Jedi
brother
Temple
and sister,
Challenge.
yeah, they watched the show, and I watched a few episodes, and it was a pretty fun show.
Yeah.
And I think it was just one of the victims of the whole COVID thing. And
yeah.
they had to put it on hold for a while, but it sounds like they're going to bring it back at some point.
Yeah, he was pretty sweet. How he was dual wielding and wrecking
that
those
was
dudes.
awesome.
It was pretty sweet. I hope we get more of them for sure.
Did you want to talk about at all the issue you had with that?
This is, I mentioned this to Mick, and it's like, it's just me nitpicking.
I agree, though. I think you're right.
But everyone was like, what a redemption for him. And I was like, that makes it seem like he did something bad. You know what I mean? Like everyone was like, redemption for Ahmed Best. But I was like,
Oh, it's not an issue with the episode. It's an issue with people.
right.
Okay,
I'm saying like, it's not a problem with
Okay.
the fact that you didn't like Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that he did anything bad. Like, it almost makes it seem like, well,
Like
he
he
got
had
to
to be
redeem himself from
redeemed,
that
yeah.
pile of crap. And it's like, there's a lot of people out there that like Jar Jar. You know what I
was
mean?
told what to do.
And so,
He was.
yeah. And
Like-
I was young enough that it's like, I didn't think anything of Jar Jar. It was like, whatever. He was entertaining, whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that experience like people that were like, Jar Jar ruined Star Wars.
Well, it's like, what is he supposed to do? He gets this script and it says Misa Jar Jar Binks, and it's like he's like, actually, guys, I'd like to change it to my name is Jar Jar
Yeah.
Binks the third.
Jar Jar.
Yeah, like there's no way he's doing that. Like, come on, guys, it's out of his control,
Yeah, it just seemed like,
and it wasn't that bad. Like,
yeah, it
it's
seemed
kinda
like
goofy, fun thing.
for me, the whole redemption angle, I mean, it's just nitpicking for me. Like,
Yeah.
be like, there's a better word to use instead of like redemption, because I think redemption has a negative connotation
It
to
does, yeah.
This wasn't the words coming from like Lucasfilms or Disney.
No, it's just like
This
I
is just
saw,
from
I saw a lot of
and
fans
critics.
saying like, "Oh,
Like
finally
IG.
redemption,"
Okay. Well,
and so it just seemed like it like kind of annoyed me. I'm like,
yeah.
especially with all the crap that he went through, it's like it's an opportunity for maybe redemption for fans to not be such terrible people. Maybe like I guess that's a good way we
Yeah,
can
like
phrase
the
it.
fans are the ones that need to be redeemed. At this
Right,
point.
of like treating somebody like making him suicidal to the fact, just like crazy.
really?
Yeah, he was out. I think there was an art interview like maybe a year or two ago that he talked about. He was like, I was 25 and everyone hated me, and he thought
thoughts.
about
Yeah, sure.
committing suicide. And
Dang.
so it's like,
That's so sad.
so yeah, for me, it like, I don't know, it just the word redemption in that context was like, I don't like, it doesn't sit well with me. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No, I agree 100%.
but yeah, I'm stoked to see him. Hopefully we get either more flashbacks with him, or see him pop up in another show
He
or
was
something.
awesome. in
Yeah,
that.
he was
It
cool.
really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
We're
Anything
going to
else?
see him die.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was cool.
But then Jar Jar saves him, and then we get Jar Jar back, and then it's really redemption.
And then he has to play two different characters.
That's right.
Against himself. That'd be sick.
It's like Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah. Anything else on?
I don't think so. I think
Mando?
that's it.
A shorter episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, that was that one. The Foundling or whatever. Sweet.
Sounding.
What's after this one?
The Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
Bad
Oh,
Batch.
that's right.
So now that we've seen the two episodes, they should have been back to back, right?
Yeah,
Do you
they
agree?
should
Sorry.
100%.
Remember we talked about last week you didn't really like that episode.
Yeah,
But then this one felt like if you would have put them both together,
I think so. Yeah,
it would have been a lot better.
I think so, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is good setup for the season finale that comes out, I guess, tomorrow.
It's a
I guess
two-parter,
Wednesday.
you
It's a
said?
two-parter.
Okay.
So I thought it was really cool, even the whole on Tantus, right? It's called Mount Tantus.
I think so.
Torturing Crosshair, and then he tries to get the message out to them. I just thought that was really cool, kind of full circle. With, I think earlier in the season or in last season, there's a similar. They put out a distress signal, and then he says they'll come back. They know it's a trap. He's like, yeah, but they'll come.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of cool. Crosshair kind of hoping that they'll still come for him.
Yeah.
So I really like the episode. I like the setup of what they're doing.
That doctor guy is such a good.
Yeah, he's
such
a good
His
villain.
voice is like almost too good for this series. He's like, I'm gonna make you talk. Like it's like, dang, dude, chill. I actually really liked the episode. I thought it was
Yeah,
one
it
of
was
the
really
better
good.
ones. I don't know why. It just really hit really well. I felt like it wasn't. There was no lulls. Every story beat was hitting for a reason. It's like pushing us forward in the story purposefully. I love the emotion from Crosshair, even though he's a tough dude, but you can see the desperation and the true feelings of wanting to protect them, and he has something to fight for now, and it's super cool. I love that. So yeah, I really enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I liked even the intro with Echo and his crew like saving the clones.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was really awesome.
What's that
and we got to
one
see Hauser.
Is that the same clone from Rebels?
No, Gregor is. He's in
Yeah,
Rebels.
Gregor dies in Rebels.
Oh my
Is he the one that
gosh!
talks?
Spoiler alert.
It's messed up.
The one they're saving though is from season 1 of Bad Batch. He was on the. He was the cool clone that was fighting off that helped Hera.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
But yeah, that was really cool. I like seeing just even like their different like their uniforms and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a really cool episode. And yeah, good setup. I think it's kind of sad that, well, I mean, not sad, but that they're like, is Crosshair's there? Is this a trap? Is he trying to trap us? But it's like, he's like legitimately calling out for help. And it's cool that they're kind of getting to that point of they're like, we just need to help kind of a thing. Cause I feel like they even have that conversation with Echo where they're like, you can't destroy them all or whatever. And he's like, I just have to help my brothers. That's what I'm supposed to do. So it's a great setup, I think, for the season finale.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think. What do you guys predictions? Do you guys think any of the
Bo-Katan,
any of the guys are going to
villain.
die? And do you think Crosshair's going to make it out? Are they going to break our hearts with someone dying?
Omega's dying, dude. No.
Did they say how many like seasons they're doing or anything?
They haven't
like that?
announced it. So
They haven't announced it.
and they haven't announced that there's going to be a season 3 yet. So
Man,
I could see them killing Crosshair. I think he's going to make a big sacrifice to help out the other team, and I think he's going to be gone.
yeah, I think that's probably a good prediction. I feel like we've gotten to the point where we've seen that he's changed enough that I think the payoff is like it's the right time for the payoff if they want to do it. I kind of want to keep Crosshair around though. I'd like to see him reintegrate with.
He is a really cool
Bad Batch.
character. Part of me also thinks that he doesn't really want to be like in that group again. Like he feels so like he's betrayed them too many times, and just I think the whole sacrifice thing, if it happens, that'll be like his last thing to be like, hey, I'm sorry, and this is the best I can do for you guys. That's what I can think.
I think someone's going to die, but I think it's either going to be Tech, because they're kind of setting up this whole thing that he has a love interest, and they've had multiple episodes where he's been the focal point. So I think either Tech dies. He had this whole thing where it's like, oh, well, people come, people leave, right? But for him to kind of Omega kind of talk this whole aspect of like about family.
He is the most killable.
And he would be
so.
able to kind of like calculate whatever he needs to do to get them out and then sacrifice himself. It's either him or I think they might go for Hunter.
No.
And so I think Crosshair's the easy one to be like, oh, well, they'll kill Crosshair. But I think there's more power to having him integrate back based on one of those guys sacrificing so he could be back with.
It really
group.
depends too if there is more to
Tech.
come. If there's more seasons.
Yeah.
I think that really changes the way you think about it.
I'm team. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it as this is probably the last season. And in my mind that makes more sense if Crosshair goes out. But
I think even if this is the last season of this show, I think they're going to show up in other shows. I think they already
I can
have
see that.
stuff planned.
Kind of
So,
like Cody and those guys.
yeah.
I'd love to see a live action of him.
That'd
That'd
be
be
pretty
sweet.
sick.
That'd be really cool.
With The Rock as Wrecker. Oh, he's sick.
Well, then it'd have to be Rock for everyone else.
No, Wrecker looks a little bit more different than the other
It's
ones.
got to be everyone.
Okay.
That's the lore.
We'll just make him skinny. Shrink his
It'll
head a
be
little
like
bit.
Black Adam.
Yeah.
They made him all skinny and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
And then they make him gray, and then they make him
Perfect.
half tatted. I think I agree with you. I think because originally, okay, so first of all, Dave Filoni, if he approached me, he's like, I'm going to pay you $50,000 to write the last episode, and I'll be like, all right, let's do this. Easy. I think that they actually get Omega. I think that'd be the best end of a season / cliffhanger if they're intending to make another season.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think Tech is a good person to lose because it feels almost like he's completed his journey almost. Like he's right there to be like, he's more in touch with his feelings and stuff. And he's made these connections. He's changed a lot as a character. Let's be honest. In the first season, he was very like bland and very like, matter of fact. Now he's a lot more in touch with stuff. And so it's like, I feel like he'd be, and because he's connecting so much with Omega, and he's kind of like teaching her how to do a lot of the things that he does, like even the turn he does, the tech turn, or what was it called?
Tick 10.
Yeah, tick 10. I'm like, it feels like they're almost setting it up to have that loss. So if this is the last season, I could see that for sure.
I guess that I just see that with Crosshair, like that he's made that full circle kind of transformation. So that's why I see that making sense.
Yeah.
I see that.
Why not
the tech
both?
thing
I think
too.
yes. I think he has to do more. What's it called when you're like working to pay off your sin? What's it called?
Penance?
Yeah, it's like he needs to, penance for what he's done and work with the team or do something else.
Yeah.
Whether that is self-sacrifice or if he's working with the rebellion, awesome.
I think we'll see that final thing. in this
I think
two-parter.
but I think he needs to do a little more personally. I know he's gone through a lot, but he also did a lot of bad things. So, killing Hunter would be kind of, I don't know, it'd be weird because it would take the heart of the whole group out. So it could hurt, but I don't know.
I feel like he hasn't been that prominent
I
this
don't think
season
he's-
either.
yeah.
I think
Like last season, he was more prominent, and if you lost him then, but I think.
Well, I think why it can work because Omega's become the heart of that group, right? So I feel like Hunter's kind of like he's done so much for her and kind of setting her up. Like as long as he's like my brothers have got her, I could see that working as far as like him sacrificing himself for Crosshair. And they've also set up he's the one that has issues with Crosshair. All the other ones are kind of like have warmed up to Crosshair a little bit. Omega, he's always been the one that's like, no, he's made his choice. So I think there would be a little bit of like beauty in that aspect where he is like, okay, I sacrificed myself for my brother. That I think that would kind of work.
I could see that angle. Yeah. It does remind me of like what's like Full House. Was it Full House? Whereas like Joey and the uncles and they're all raising the kids and stuff. It feels like there's just a bunch of uncles or dads raising Omega, and it's like
Stephanie Tanner.
it's like
That's me.
and I think Hunter would be pretty brutal to lose for Omega. Also,
He'd be like Uncle Jesse going out.
yeah.
Can't get rid of Uncle Jesse.
You can't get rid of Uncle Jesse.
But I don't know. Like Uncle Jesse's really cool. Like Hunter's like pretty neutral. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I guess. How many more episodes do we have left?
This last two. This is the season finale.
Okay.
So it's back-to-back episodes.
So just this next week. Yeah. Cool. We'll see.
We'll find out.
Have they released any like ratings on the show? Like how many views it's getting?
I don't think so.
I'd be curious to see that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Probably not a lot. I don't think a lot of people watch animation, as far as like compared to Mandalorian and that kind of stuff.
I feel like kids would watch it. There's a lot of kids out there. A lot of kids in the world, Jonah.
Really?
That is
What I've
true.
heard.
A lot of kids. Yeah. So we'll be talking about the season finale next week. So make sure you come back for more Bad Batch. We're gonna do kind of a smattering of news. A little smattering.
Sounds gross, dude. We're just gonna be smattering on the wall. Just a bunch of random news.
We'll stay with Star Wars for now
Sure,
because
that's a great idea.
apparently there's been another kind of bummer news that has come out. Damon Lindelof, who has one of the writers for Lost, he did Prometheus. He's done a lot of different movies. He was writing the new Star Wars movie, and he just left. So he got axed or decided to leave. And so people were, a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, he had mentioned that they asked him about it, and he's like, well, I know that I love Star Wars, but if I'm writing something and it's just not working, I'd rather not finish it than.
Yeah, don't force it.
And so then after like a couple weeks after that, those quotes, it came out that he was gone.
Okay.
And they just hired
Stephen Knight,
who does Peaky Blinders, to take his spot. So apparently the movie is still moving forward for 2025, I think is the year that it's supposed to come out. Or maybe it's 2024. There's
2024 would be
rumors.
Wild. What do you mean?
There's
Like, he's just
rumors
writing it.
that so there's several guys have come out and said that Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired unless she gets movies out in theaters. And so she has an ultimatum to get a movie out by Christmas 2025.
That's so scary.
And so that's what they're
that's
saying.
Gonna create a great story when you have a gun to your head.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Jeez,
and Star Wars Celebration is in a couple weeks, I think. And the rumor is they're announcing 3 movies
Yes.
at Star Wars Celebration. But no one knows what those are. So anyways, it just seems like it's, again, another one of those things where you hire somebody, this movie's coming out, and then, creative differences, it's not working, we have to get in someone new. So
I mean, you guys heard that they laid off 7,000 people at Disney as well, right?
Yeah.
Like overarching.
Yeah.
But, dude.
and they've told
Crazy.
Lucasfilm to focus solely on Star Wars. So the Indiana Jones Disney Plus show they were going to do, they're not doing anymore. They canceled Willow season 2. So apparently they're just like, Lucasfilm, just worry about Star Wars, nothing else. So it seems like, I think the TV shows are doing well, but the whole movie side of things has been kind of a mess.
Well, that's Rian Johnson's trilogy, not happening.
Right.
Benioff and Weiss were supposed to do a trilogy. That's not happening. Kevin Feige's movie isn't happening.
Zack Snyder's movie is now Rebel Moon.
Good riddance, I say. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron isn't happening. Taika Waititi's movie,
They're saying that one's still happening.
that would be the worst thing in the world to happen.
Out of all
if
of them,
Taika Waititi's
that's one
movie
of
goes
least.
through
Yeah.
and none of these other ones do, and then this new movie or whatever that lost David
And
Lindelof.
Solo had issues with the directors
Right,
leaving.
Rogue One had issues.
Episode 9 had issues with the
Right.
Colin Trevorrow,
Trevorrow
leaving and J.J. Abrams coming in. So
the movie side of things is a dumpster fire.
Dave Filoni movie when?
That's
It's crazy.
they should announce that
What
at
is hap-
Celebration.
I hope they do, because they'd be stupid if they don't.
yeah.
Like they're also, it just feels like they're getting kind of desperate. I'm gonna be honest, but
Yeah.
it's not like in a good way for us, like because we know how good he is. But it's like I understand that they don't like he hasn't made a movie, right?
No.
It's just TV stuff and episodic stuff. So it's like I understand that, but dude, he's proven himself to be
At least writing
Trustworthy
it. Like
for
even if
the
he's not
story.
directing, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
Dave Filoni's doing
Yes,
this next.
yes.
Produce it.
Yeah.
Yes. That'd be so good. Whoosh.
Write it, produce it, have Jon Favreau direct. They've proven to be a really good pair.
I don't know about Favreau directing. I think there's been better directors on The Mandalorian.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas
That'd be
Howard's
cool.
been good. I think what's the guy that was going to do the Flash?
Oh,
Rick
Famuyiwa would be good. So I think those I would take them over
Carl Weathers.
Favreau. Probably not Carl Weathers, but I'd take those two over Favreau doing it.
Dang,
but we'll see.
So 3 movies?
That's what the rumor is.
Wow.
And yeah, that's in April. I don't know what the date is, but we'll have lots of news coming out.
Yeah.
So that's probably that's when we'll hear if Bad Batch gets renewed.
Yeah.
All the other announcements, because Mando will be done by then. It'll end. I don't know. I think that it's pretty close. Either it'll be end that week or it'll be close. Yeah, timing wise. So, and yeah, supposedly 3 movies. So
Wow.
it'll be interesting to see. And then who knows? They're going to announce 3 movies. Who knows if they'll ever actually happen?
Well, and the rumor
Are
is
they gonna
that
be 3 standalones? Like,
well, the rumor
three
that's going around is that the movies are set after the sequel trilogy, will include characters that we know from the sequel, like some saying Rey's coming back, Finn, but that
Wolfhard?
it's not necessarily a sequel. They're not connected, but they're going to be around the same time. So past the sequel trilogy.
Interesting.
I want to see more of that broom kid.
So they're not committing to a trilogy.
They're not
but
coming to a trilogy. They're saying
they're just post.
post that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in a new era, we don't know, which I think
So
they
maybe
kind of have to do.
Maybe it might be more like centered around different characters then, maybe?
Yeah, I could see like
See that?
a Jedi kid that then at the end finds like Rey's teaching Jedi kid, like that kind of stuff, like
Broom Kid.
dealing with what the universe is like in past 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's the Star Wars stuff.
Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm happy
yeah,
about
we'll
that.
see what happens. I'm bummed about Damon Lindelof because I think he's really good.
Yeah.
That would have been cool, but we'll see. What else did we have that we wanted to talk? Do you guys want to talk the little Diablo stuff or?
No, I played the beta again this last weekend. Did you also play it? Yeah. We got to play the Necromancer and the Druid. I played a little bit of the Druid, but then I ended up playing the Rogue, and I got to level 25 on my wife's account, so she got the cool little
Wolf
extra
pup.
accessory. Yeah.
Nice.
But what did you play? You played the Druid?
I played the Necromancer.
Necromancer.
So yeah, I mean, more of the same.
Yeah.
So it was still glitchy. Like we had a lot of
It felt like the same.
Yeah, we had a lot of co-op problems. So like loading in, and then we couldn't go into places. But overall, it's still a lot of fun to play, and I'm excited for the game to come out.
Yeah, it was very fun. I will say that it is a little bummer because it's like, I know that the game needs a lot of work still, so I'm glad it's not coming out soon, but it also kind of sucks because it's like, you get a little taste of it and you're like, I want to keep playing this. I would like to go past level 25. I would love to do that. It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we have to wait like 3 months or something like that, 2 or 3 months.
I was like, I'm excited to not see snow all the time.
Yeah.
Like it looks really cool, but
Oh,
then
it
I'm like,
looks
I want to see the desert. Like all the other areas will be sweet.
But yeah, I saw Joel was playing some, so we'll have to get a family clan like you were saying.
Flan.
A flan even. And we'll name it Jonah's Dumb. And then
That's
well, I'm just joking. But yeah,
It's
it's
been
fun.
brutal this episode. I don't know if I'll come back.
Never mind. I'll name it Jonah's Awesome. Wow, man. Wow.
You gonna come back now?
Probably not.
Dang it.
Last thing, just a little Snyder stuff that he announced, SnyderCon 2. And he dropped a really cool poster that I sent to you guys. That's kind of the statue of Superman that was destroyed in BVS. It's put together, and his fingers are different in different positions than they were in the movie.
Yeah.
So people are
Tinfoil hats on, boys.
tinfoil hats.
Here we go.
He's got 5 fingers up on one side, and then
3 down.
3
right?
down,
Yeah.
and the other holding 2. So some people are saying his original plan was 5 movies, saying 3 down, 2 to go. So people were saying that, and then he
Or
was
it might be a statement on like what could have been.
right, which
I
is
saw that
not
a
true.
lot. Yeah.
He was on a YouTube channel talking to some guys, and they asked him about that, and he said, he's like, there's a lot of symbolism in the thing. He's like, most people have gotten like a lot of what we've tried to do, and they're right. He's like, but I can't talk about that till after the event. So he's like, we'll talk about more of the poster after SnyderCon, which the tickets sold out in 10 minutes once they were up. and they were
That's it.
$150.
That's it.
$150 for Man of Steel, $150 for BVS, and then $175 for Zack Snyder's
Holy
Justice League.
Smokes.
Really?
And so they made $130,000.
And that was
so
all for
they
charity,
crossed,
right?
yeah, they crossed the $1 million raised for AFSP, suicide awareness, suicide prevention.
Super cool. Love that.
So, and he keeps announcing, like, he keeps posting pictures of people that are supposed to be on there, like, will be at the event. Kevin Costner, all the people that played Superman. So Henry Cavill and the two child actors, Lois Lane. He's been posting a ton of stuff, which is pretty cool. He's going to live stream, I guess, Man of Steel and BVS and the question section afterwards. He's not live streaming Zack Snyder's Justice League. So people are wondering why he's not able to do that. And some people are saying the rumor is he got Warner Brothers to let him put in the Green Lantern scene. And so that's why he wouldn't live stream it, because it's only for the people that are there.
Yeah.
The other thing he said was Warner Brothers, when DeLuca and Abdi were in charge, there was this whole idea that they were going to redo the Snyderverse. So when he was talking on this podcast, he said, I really want to thank DeLuca and Abdi, because if it weren't for them, none of this would happen. So the fact that now James Gunn is in charge is like, oh man, well, that kind of changed the direction. But apparently they had already planned this before. So it was kind of their call. So they're doing it. So that's really cool. Yeah. So whatever happens, some people are saying he's going to say goodbye, to say, hey, this is done. I'm done with this. And some people are still holding on hope that he's going to announce something, whether that's finishing it as graphic novels or animation, or saying, hey, we'll do something else worlds. Who knows?
On the poster, I saw that there was a Universal logo.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
People grabbed onto that saying like, oh, Universal got the rights.
Oh,
where what they're saying is where he's screening it in the IMAX is the Universal owned.
Oh, okay. That was the only thing I saw.
So it's on the Universal
I didn't see anyone
walk.
post about that, but I saw that. I was like, Universal? But next to Warner Bros, I was like, what's happening? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
And some people were saying like, people were saying like, oh, well, Nolan's at Universal now, so maybe that was the connection. But no, they're saying it's because that's where the screenings are going to take place.
How do we get Zack Snyder to come on our YouTube channel?
It's a good question.
Well, so I was wondering, this is a great question. I was wondering why you didn't tweet at him, be like, hey, can you fly me down? I'd love to live perform the song I had.
I know, I should have, but
I would have done that.
I don't do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
For attention.
Maybe you should.
Or you should write an original, maybe something that more applies.
Restore the
Sorry,
Snyderverse.
not an original. I mean, a new
Snyderverse.
original one about restoring.
I should,
the
maybe I should.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
He hates me. You know what? Hey, bro, I'm just saying. This might be the last
My time to shine.
This might be the last time. I don't know. I hope he comes out and says, yeah, we're actually giving permission to do either
NFTs.
a visual novel or animation NFTs.
It's like, we're going to do a line of NFTs to complete the movies.
Yeah.
Or a video game. I'd take a video game.
Yeah.
Not with that publishing company.
No, not that one, but he's like, Rocksteady's working on my Justice League 2 and Justice League 3.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But also Rebel Moon apparently is it's already shot and they're working on 4 different versions of it.
Do you think there's a chance of him teasing it at SnyderCon?
I think that's what's going to happen at the end of it.
Okay.
Is
4 different versions?
Yeah, so a guy that's working on the editing, he says they're doing, so part 1 is PG-13, part 2 is PG-13, but they're doing 2 rated R versions for both of them.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, we're working on 4 different versions of the movie that were all going to be released on Netflix. So
I wonder if that's by request of Netflix or if that's just his idea.
I think that's
maybe
Zack
it's more
Snyder.
accessible for kids and stuff.
Zack Snyder likes doing his R-rated cuts because Batman v Superman has an R-rated cut. So I think PG-13 is going to be like what's on Netflix.
Yeah,
and then it's going to be like
released in a theater.
Right.
They're
It's just kind
two
of the
different
director's
versions.
cut. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah,
Sweet.
will be interesting.
Rebel Moon. Yeah, I hope it's good. I hope
Me
it's
too.
good. Little bubble gifts. bubble ships. Has he released any other like behind the scenes stuff on any of the props or anything like
He's
that?
released some stuff.
He's
some
released
stuff
some
about
stuff.
it and some aliens and
That's
costuming
cool.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that'd be cool.
should be sick.
Sweet. Well, I think that's the episode.
That's it.
All right, nice.
Nice long episode for you all to really enjoy and sink your teeth into. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
More
Sink your
Mando,
teeth in.
Bad Batch, and then I think there's Tears of the Kingdom 10-minute gameplay, some D&D teasers that we're gonna get for tomorrow, I think, and then I think the Dungeons and Dragons
That movie comes out.
movie's coming out.
Yeah.
So we'll probably watch. Some of us will probably watch that.
Definitely watching that.
And then the week after that, the Mario movie comes out. So
Definitely
we've got,
watching that.
We got a lot of movies and stuff coming out.
yeah.
Sorry for those of you who watched Shazam. None of us watched it. So and I think not many people did. Going by the box office. So yeah. Anyways, we'll discuss that once it's on streaming. Or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you on next week.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.